Hey everybody, it's Terry Gibbons again with another Reset Your Body tip to help you grow younger as you age. So I got tired of coming in all the videos like this, so I wanted to have a different kind of entry pose. Maybe I won't do that next time. Who knows? Stay tuned. Listen guys, coming to you today with another Reset Your Body tip. Today's tip is going to be all about what is the hype over organic food. You know, organic anything. What's the deal? What does organic really mean? Because I did not understand this about 5 or 6 years ago. I had no idea what organic really was. So I'm going to try to break it down as succinctly as possible. So first off, I will read the definition of what organic food is. Organic foods, produce, and other items are grown without the use of pesticides, synthetic fertilizers, sewage sludge, genetically modified organisms, or ionized radiations. Animals that produce meat, poultry, eggs, and dairy products do not take antibiotics or growth hormones. What does that mean? No chemicals. That's what organic means. There are no chemicals used in the creation, the growing, the feeding, the administration, the serving. There's no chemicals anywhere in this process. That's what organic means. Why is that such a big deal? Well, in the conventional, which is the way we, do food nowadays, everything's got chemicals in it. It's man's cure to all things. We're spraying, pesticides on all the crops so that we can kill the bugs, which kind of hurt the plants a little bit. We're putting antibiotics in the cows to keep them from getting sick because we got them all in those jacked up conditions there ever were. We're putting a lot of chemicals in the food, and some people will think, well, what's the big deal? It goes away. I see a cow, I'm going to eat the cow. Well, think about it this way. I don't know if you believe it or not, but people, you are what you eat. They have that saying, you are what you eat. So a guy that eats McDonald's all day is going to look different than a guy that, runs around eating salads and fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, fresh meats. That guy looks different than the guy that ate the junk. Well, animals are the exact same way. The food we eat is what it eats too, right? So if you're raising a plant and you're throwing chemicals and junk in there, so you're basically feeding the plant fast food, you're going to have an unhealthy plant too, right? If you're giving a cow, you're pumping them full of antibiotics and you're throwing them up on drugs and you're feeding them this genetically modified food, that's going to be a cow that's brought up on McDonald's, per se, like we would be brought up on junk food. So it does make for a less powerful, less nutritional, less healthy animal that we're going to eat. But, some people say, well, what's the big deal? It's still alive. I'm eating it. It doesn't taste crazy. Organic, what's the big deal? Well, first off, let's go through a few misconceptions of what's going on. And by the way, I need to set my trusty timer because I tend to go along with these things. Keep my eyes. So if you see me glancing down, there's no one here tickling my leg. I'm checking out the old timer. So there's going to be 4 misconceptions I want to go over about organic. 1, they say it's too expensive, which is not necessarily true. I'm going to help you think of it the way I think of organic food. Organic food isn't too expensive. It's conventional food is undercutting it. Conventional food is too cheap, quite frankly. They've got a way, when you use enough chemicals, we control how much of the crop dies and you can make an animal bigger to sell more of it. You can price it cheaper than just food that's been growing. Because I'll give you a tip here, there was no such thing as the term organic until about 1940. Because before 1940, for the prior 200,000 years of human existence, everything was organic. We didn't put chemicals in stuff. We didn't use chemical fertilizers because we just didn't have it. So up until about 60 years ago, everything was organic. So this is a whole new kind of concept we're dealing with now. Instead of 200,000 years of development, we're kind of figuring this thing out. Oh, we had 60 years of, cancer rates, obesity, diabetes, what's going on? Duh! So it's not too expensive, and a wise man once told me, organic food costs more, right? But you're either going to pay the grocer or you're going to pay the doctor. But either way, you're going to pay. So you have a choice. Who are you going to give your money to? So, misconception number 2, organic is for vegetarians. Well, you understand what organic is now. It means no chemicals in your food. Obviously, we don't want chemicals in our cows. We don't want chemicals in our chickens. So it's definitely not just for vegetarians. It's for anyone that wants to have a healthy body, because chemicals, if you remember by the last video, are unusable by the body. And this apparently is a universal sign for toxin that I'm going to catch on all over the world. But we have toxins that if they don't properly combine to make food, your body starts to do things to them. Go refer to the whole food video and you'll understand what I'm talking about there. Misconception number 3 is organic is not more nutritious than the conventional food we have now. They say it's not. They can't prove it. Think about it. If you have a person that eats McDonald's junk food all day and you got a guy who's living clean, who's going to be the healthier person? Right? Food's the same way. You get food raised in chemical-laden environments with they're pumped with antibiotics and just drugged up versus this healthy, natural food. They're different. They even taste different, which gets me on to misconception number 4, which is that there's no flavor in organic food, which I really thought that was true. All this stuff, these are things that I believed about 6 years ago before I really got caught on to the reset your body concept. I thought organic food, I bought to the hype. Hey, it doesn't taste good, it's bland, it doesn't have any flavor. Dude, that's the exact opposite. Have you ever taken organic onion and take a regular onion, cut those bad boys up and see which one makes you cry? The organic onion is potent, it's got more flavor, it's got more of that pungent power that kills bacteria and make people cry. Eat an organic apple compared to a regular apple. Just like 4 times the flavor. Regular apples kind of taste like sawdust. You know, try organic anything, because that means that the animal, it wasn't bogged down by drugs and chemicals, and it didn't mature quickly, over quickly to the point where it appears mature when you put growth hormones in the stuff. It appears mature, but it's not really ripe. Organic is night and day, man. If you want to have a flavor explosion in your mouth, you need to get you some organic food. Cook with that. Cook with that for 1 week. Try this. Cook with organic just for 1 week, and then go back to regular for 1 week and see what the food tastes like. Try that. Try one organic of an item and one non-organic of an item and taste them. You know, do it for yourself. Don't believe me. I did not believe any of this until I actually did it myself. It's amazing the difference in the food. They say nowadays you have to eat 5 apples in 2012 to get the same nutrition of 1 apple from 1950. Because these apples are big, they're juicy, they're red, they got tiny percent of the nutrients they need to have, none of the flavor. So I don't have time to eat 5 darn apples. I'm eating 1 organic one, I'm cool with it. So this is totally up to you how you want to do this. And as you already heard, those chemicals that are in the food, those are going to be the toxins as well. This is another thing that your body's either going to lump on as fat somewhere, or your body's going to just put randomly all over. Like I mentioned before, if you have these toxins, these chemicals that you're eating, it's like dropping a bag of flour in the kitchen. You turn the fan on, it blows everywhere. These chemicals, these pesticides, these antibiotics that are in the food we're eating, they don't just go away. They end up somewhere, and they have an effect. And you have a weak spot, just like I have a weak spot. And it'll build up year after year after year, and you'll see what's going on in the long term, and you don't want that route. So, stuff like this. Lean cuisine. I'm at 5 minutes and 34 seconds. Lean cuisine. This, unfortunately, as lean as it might be, is very low calories, probably, very low sodium. I don't talk a lot about calories and sodium. I don't believe in calories and sodium. I don't think cavemen could have calculated all this stuff in their head. They ate food, and food by definition is a plant or an animal. And in this case, there's enough chemicals in this that it puts more toxins in your body, which is why we do these cleanses, these things to get all of these toxins out so that we don't let it build up for year after year after year and bad things happen. So stuff like this, chemicals, I talked about Crystal Light before, it's all chemicals. There's not one plant or an animal on this thing anywhere. So every time you're sucking this stuff in, you're just dumping in toxins, and your body's like, well, do I make fat or do I send it to the ankles? Where do I put this stuff? Do I give them bad eyesight? Do I give them Alzheimer's in the brain? What am I doing with these chemicals that I know I can't digest? So I think that's enough to scare the hell out of you guys. This read. Now you understand how to analyze this. Read and look for the food or the plant that this stuff came from. This stuff right here. Don't do it. Just don't. Watch the whole food video. I'll talk about how, because this isn't the end of the world. I'll talk about how to make up for the dietary choices we've already made. So with that said, I hope that kind of makes sense. I want to keep this short and sweet. Stay tuned to the Facebook fan page. Go on there, which is www.facebook.com/TerryVLGivens. And then go to terrygivens.com. Stay up on the post. I'm going to give away a free Reset Your Body wristband because people are going to be guessing my middle names. Fun, I know. So with that said, guys, I hope the information made sense. Comment, share with the world. Let me know your feedback and change someone else's life today. Be well.